Dugout Show, hosted by State Director Sammy Esposito, Associate Scouts Drew Stewart and Sean Smith, that discuss all things related to amateur baseball in South Carolina. Here are your hosts.
Welcome into another high school pre-show, number 4. We get all aboard the train now. We got Coach Daniel. What's going on, Coach?
How y'all doing? Appreciate y'all.
Doing fantastic. We got Sean finally joins after taking a brief vacation with Austin Smith, and Sammy's sick. This is
the migraine has switched parts of the brain now, so we're over to the right side now. So we're rolling here. You
only need your left side for this tonight. Coach,
strong side,
weak side. We'll roll into this one, but we'll kind of start off with last year a little bit. Some guys you lost in the season. In general, we know you had a very successful season.
Definitely, our 2025 group should be extremely proud of what they have accomplished at Daniel the last 2 years. 24 was great. We made a deep run there, and I think we came in 2025 and had a lot of expectations. And for the most part, those guys, once we got kind of rolling, I thought they handled it well. But it was probably one of the best years in school history, historically. 23-11, went to Georgetown and finished second in the Classic to sort of kick the year off, which was an awesome experience. And, thoughts and prayers out to those guys as they deal with the Mike Johnson, the passing of him, because he was obviously is a legend in our game and in our state. So, but that was a phenomenal event. And it was really cool, actually. They honored him before we played Georgetown at that event, which was really cool. Season goes on. We finished second in the region, got to playoffs, made a pretty deep run. We won the district, played a real kind of a 3-game series with Lawrence embedded in there that had some really high quality games. And then once we were able to come out of that one, we played Fountain Inn for a 3-game series. And that was probably one of the best 3-game series I've ever been a part of. That was 2 really good teams, felt like special teams that had a little destiny to them. And, you hated to see one of those teams fall in that one, because that was a fun series. Both teams battling blow for blow. And then we were able to come out on that one, got Seneca in the upper state. Which is obviously a rivalry series for us. We knew going into that series we were going to have to win some low-scoring games. They have some arms, and they made the plays. I mean, you got to give Seneca credit. They had a couple more big hits than us. They executed a little better than us, and sometimes that's all it takes in baseball. They had a special team as well over there across the way at Seneca. So it was a great year. We lost a lot. We lost 10 seniors, I think highlighted by Ian McCrary, 2-time All-State, probably one of the most decorated players to ever come through here when all's said and done. I think he had 20 wins and 219 strikeouts in his career. So don't just replace that, just out of nowhere. We're going to need some guys to step up. But lost, Spencer Kahn, catcher. He was a 2-time All-Region guy for us, playing Murray State football now. Lost our second baseman, Grayson Davis. Shortstop, Lee Turnipseed, who's at Charleston Southern now. Lost all 3 of our outfielders. Jay-Sean Perry and Julian Baldwin are both at Sumter with McCrary. And then we lost Quint Cumby, who hit a quiet .533 last year. So he was phenomenal. He's at Anderson now, got his shot at the next level. So, and then we lost a couple other seniors as well. So, Matthew Smith, Drew Turner, and Markham Eliezer, shout out to those guys as well. So, good group, hard to replace. So we'll see what we can do.
Well, yeah, obviously an incredible, year last year. And then obviously with the, a lot of those guys that are moving on, obviously, you can see the talent with a lot of those guys moving off and getting an opportunity to play at the next level speaks obviously volumes to the development and the talent there. But kind of switching into rolling into this year, we were lucky enough to come up to Daniel this fall for something brand new for us, that you had reached out to us and said, hey, want to do something different this fall, try to find some ways to help out and do something a little bit different. And you kind of fired this thing up. You were the big kind of kickoff for us on this one,
Yeah.
High School Scout Day. So you were able to kind of a fire starter for us the month of October, but kind of talk to us a little bit, talk to the people out there how the scout day kind of started off and kind of doing, for you and for us, it was boom, October 1st, the start of the open period and how that rolled and able to kind of get some of your players right off the bat, kind of get them some experience of doing a showcase, but also getting some numbers, getting some video,
Definitely.
getting some stuff to help with the development in that range.
Yeah, we just wanted to do something different. We wanted to try something, and I thought it was really cool how we were able to line it up on October 1st, the first day of open season, get you guys out there almost like a celebratory thing, because you feel like after summer you're sitting there for a couple months just, chomping at the bit, waiting for it to kick back off, and to kind of have that day one be, hey, scout day, let's go. Like, I think that fired the guys up. Most of our guys elected to do it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I thought it was a good mix of our older guys and our younger guys. So hopefully gave you guys the opportunity to check in on some of these younger guys that are going to be pretty good as well. So, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Definitely hoping to do it again in the future. But I just thought it was a great way to kind of kick off the open season period and have a good time, with those guys, out there in that environment.
Absolutely. Yeah. I could tell being out there too. Like it was just kind of a different vibe than even the normal scout days that probably we're accustomed to, just between being at, travel ball teams and things like that, being able to be at an actual high school practice and, kind of seeing the levels of all the different kids, the age groups, and your older guys are taking care of some stuff and they've been around it a couple of times. And, it was definitely fun to see them kind of give it off to the younger kids as well. So it was good to be out there. But with that being said, Coach, a couple of returners, we've seen now a number of your guys throughout the years, but highlight a few of them that are coming back next year that you're looking to make pretty big contributions.
Yeah, we've got, people don't know it because we lost 10 seniors, but I mean, we'll have 14 seniors try out for baseball this year. So, I mean, we do bring a lot back. I think of that senior class, there were 6 of them that filled a little bit bigger roles last year. But I'm just saying, there's some guys that may not be household names yet and may have not had the opportunities yet that are going to definitely make a splash this spring. And I'm excited to see who those guys pan out to be. But kind of, referring back to last year, some of the guys that were able to fill some pretty big roles for us. I think you start with Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson was a 367 hitter for us, had 8 home runs, 32 RBIs. So we bring him back in the middle of our order. I think we always kind of knew the bat would play, but over time he's became one of the best third basemen in the state defensively as well. So we're very, very happy to have him, back. And also of note, as y'all probably know, he was 78 to 82 most of the spring last year when we were evaluating him as a pitcher. And we kind of said, well, we'll wait on this. This summer it was more 84, 86, got a couple 88s, and then all of a sudden he popped to 92. So I don't know what it looks like yet, but we're going to try him on the mound, and it's hard not to try that on the mound. So we'll see how that pans out. So, and moving on from him, Liam Purcell. Well, Liam Purcell recently committed to Eastern Kentucky. He was actually a region starter for us on the mound in 24, ended up getting injured and wasn't able to fully go last year.
I was there for that injury, Coach. I was here for that injury.
That was a sad one for sure, because we liked where we were rolling and he was having a great year and our team was doing a lot of great things. And, he had a really good year as a sophomore on the mound for us, had 23 strikeouts in roughly as many innings. And last year, he had to fill more of a DH role for us, but he's gotten faster. He's gotten stronger. He's going to compete with Ty at third base. I think we're fortunate enough to have 2 of the probably top 5 third basemen in the state, and I'll say that emphatically. I think both those guys are phenomenal players. But Liam might be our Quint Cumbie this year too, because Liam showed that he could play every infield position. He's shown that he can play corner outfield. So he offers a level of versatility that's going to be extremely valuable for our team. And again, not to mention he's been up to 91 on the mound recently too. So again, we're really excited about what he can do. Then Eli Payne. Eli Payne is committed to USC Sumter. Last year, he was sort of our next guy up all year in that, with Cumbie's versatility, it kind of felt like when anyone got hurt, it was kind of Eli goes to the outfield and Cumbie goes wherever, right? I mean, that was just kind of what it was. And Eli toward the end of the year was really pushing for an everyday position. In the Lawrence series, he had 2 huge outfield assists that kind of swung the momentum our way. Had some really big plays defensively against the fence at Fountain Inn. He really should take that Jaysean Perry role is what we're kind of expecting from him from an offensive defensive perspective. But on the mound, he is kind of the X factor. I mean, it's really exciting to see what he might be able to do on the mound. He's back from labrum surgery. Didn't log a ton of innings last year just because he was wearing so many hats. Like, he was that next guy up, and he was our pinch runner, and he was doing all these things, and started quite a few games as well. But, he has been up to 85 recently, and he spins the breaking ball very, very well. He spins his breaking ball 3,200 plus. His pitch arsenal is extremely unique, kind of like a high school Nolan McLean type thing going, where he can cut it, he can sink it, he can ride it, 2 distinct breaking balls. So he's very much so an X factor there. I think the velocity keeps ticking up as well, and it's good to have him back healthy and contributing on the mound the way we feel like he'll be able to. Donfu Izuka. Donfu has logged about 40 innings the last 2 seasons. He's just a reliable bulldog. He's a strike thrower. Last year, he came in and he got one of the biggest outs of the season. We're playing Fountain Inn in a game we got to win or our season's over. And they've got Barbary at the plate, who I thought was one of the best hitters in the area. And he gets a 2-1 count with the bases loaded on us. And I'm thinking, if we don't get him, this season is over. And it was like the 4th inning, but it's just how the game felt, And Donnie throws a 2-1 changeup, and it's a really good pitch. And he got him to pop up on the infield. And it was kind of that momentum swing in that game that kind of felt like, okay, here we go. So he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done the last couple of years, and I would expect those innings to keep ticking up for him. Will Davis is a senior that came on late. He logged some playoff innings for us last year versus Fountain Inn and Seneca. He didn't log a ton of innings. It was about 7, but he has that low 3/4 slot. He's been up to 80 from it, and it's really, really difficult for hitters to track and pick up. And then the last senior that, had some moments last year, he DH'd a little bit, had some pinch hit opportunities, and probably didn't have the year he wanted to have, but he had a monster summer, and that's David DeRogers. We feel like David DeRogers, he's committed to Lander. We feel like David DeRogers could definitely be a middle of the order bat for us. He's going to have the opportunities to do that, and he's another senior. So there's 2 juniors that I need to mention as well, and these guys not only had good years last year, but they've had phenomenal careers so far. First one is Luke Turner. Luke Turner is a junior arm for us, and I think when you talk about our pitching staff, you've got the guys that are up to 90 and you got this stuff, but I think the conversation starts with Luke, with what he's been able to do the last 2 years. He's on pace for all those accolades McCrary has. He's on pace for all of them at this point, and hopefully he'll continue to trend that way. But he's just a tough kid, man. Like there's 2 moments with this kid that I want to share that are just good enough shares. And the first one was his freshman year. I don't know if you guys remember, but we're playing Wren in the upper state winners bracket. Or no, it's not the upper state. I'm sorry, in the district winners bracket. And we are playing. Jaysean Perry's on the mound for us, and they started the Allen kid, and there was rain came in like the 3rd inning, and Jaysean had thrown 37 pitches, and their guy had thrown 28, so they were able to bring their guy back. Jaysean can't throw, and we're kind of looking around, and Luke had logged some innings for us, and we're like, let's give him the ball, he'll do fine, and they had to beat us twice. So we're throwing Luke that first game. We don't score enough for him, but he goes 4 innings, and we look down at the pitch count, and it's like 38. And we're like, all right, let's stay loose. We're going to keep rolling here. So he kind of kept tossing and kind of stayed loose, and he rolls into that next game, and he goes like 5 innings. Freshman goes like 9 innings with like 1-hit baseball. And it was just the kid just wanted. I remember him walking off the field. I'm like, Luke, are you good? And he doesn't even say a word. He's just shaking his head and just does this. Like, we're going. So he's just a tough kid. And then last year, we're about to play Fountain Inn at our place, and he's not there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where is Luke? He's pitching today. What's going on? Well, he rolls in about 20 minutes late, and he's sick as a dog. Like, he is not doing well. I'm like, are you good to go? Are you sure you can do it? Yeah, I got it. I want it. And he did not have his best stuff that night, but he competed. He battled. We ultimately won the game. And that's just what you're getting with that kid, man. He's a tough kid, gritty, mid-80s fastball that's going to keep ticking up. And also has a really good split finger as well. He'll also be in the mix, I think, as a hitter and an outfielder too. He's got a violent bat speed and has a much improved defensive outfielder. And then lastly is Jackson Owenby. Jackson comes back after a couple years as our primary first baseman. He's shown big time flashes as both a pitcher and a hitter. His freshman year, he was an all-region hitter. He got really hot, was an all-region hitter for us. Last year kind of came out of the gate struggling. He did heat up and hit about 350, 360 in playoffs, but he was kind of primary closer for big parts of the year last year. And we kind of expect him to put it all together this year and be that two-way guy that we know he can be. But he's just he's a kid that we definitely got high expectations for. But, what these guys have done the last couple of years, it's awesome. But it's a new year, and these guys got to do it consistently day in, day out. We're blessed to have a culture that is extremely competitive. I don't think there's one position on the field where, we don't have guys pushing each other every day at practice. So, these guys, they had good years last year, and we expect them to continue forward. But like I said, we got a lot of guys I can't get into right now that are going to push these guys for everything they want. So
maybe we'll get into it right here.
Some of it, sure.
Coachy, newcomers to the Lions. You've got some big ones there.
We do. We'll start with Corbin Spilliards. Corbin moved in from North Carolina. He will primarily be a middle infielder for us, I'm assuming, but he's definitely a versatile kid. He's committed to Wake Forest. I would expect Wake Forest sees that versatility defensively. But he's a switch hitter, has some juice from both sides, bat speed from both sides. He'll get on the mound and he'll flirt with 90. But I'll tell you the thing about that kid is it's still early in the evaluating him per se, but he's just a tone setter. And I think that's, what has given him the ability to separate himself from a lot of good players and become a Division I athlete is just, we're doing, basically a live BP type deal where, we've got our young guys playing defense and our old guys are on the bases trying to push them and speed them up a little bit. And I mean, he's sliding into bases like it's Game 7 of the World Series, just pushing those guys. And then he gets in the weight room and he's toward the top of everything. So our strong guys are trying to compete with him on some of the strength lifts, and our speed guys are competing with him in some of the, explosive quick twitch stuff. So, I mean, just what he's been able to do as far as just coming in and being a day in, day out tone setter for us has been really special. And we're excited to have him with us. Then Toby Lowe. Toby transferred in. He's definitely an extremely talented defensive catcher. The arm strength is plus back there. He receives well. But he also showed this October that he's got a chance to swing it for us too. So I know he gets a lot of good press as a defensive guy. But he can hit, and I think he'll definitely show that this spring, when given the opportunity to do so. But he's a great kid, great spirit. We're really happy that he's a Daniel. We also had a surprise move in. He showed up in the weight room class day one. He moved in from Orange County, California, named Prescott Nyman. He's a 2027. Defensively, still kind of feeling his way out, but he's got a really pretty swing, nice frame. It's early evaluating him, but I know that there were some eye test boxes that were checked pretty early as far as him being a newcomer that definitely brings some things to the table. We got a couple guys that contributed at the JV level at a pretty high level last year as far as juniors go. Both those guys play football at Daniel currently, but Ryan Hendricks and Jack Christmas, they're both 2027s. They'll both compete for outfield innings this year. I would predict. Hendricks led the JV with 22 hits. Christmas led it with RBIs. Jack's dad actually used to be the head coach of Daniel, so there's a sort of a Daniel legacy there. And Ryan, I think both of them actually had brothers that played at Daniel as well. So they're both Daniel kids. They love Daniel. And it's cool to have a couple guys like that coming up and, in the program. And then we got a very strong sophomore class. I'm not even going to get into a lot of those guys, but I think a lot of those names. They've been on some of your lists. And, we've had a couple guys at the scout day. We also had, a couple guys really perform at the JV level last year. But our sophomore class is extremely strong. And I'm sure you'll hear some of those names as the season rolls on.
Yeah, it's funny. You guys are probably in a situation where I guess probably a lot of high schools would love to be at, but where a lot of people are probably having to play a lot of freshman or sophomore.
Yeah.
Your freshman or sophomore are probably wishing they were playing, and you probably can't get them in there as much. But it's it makes for probably a good situation for you, but probably some of those players are probably scratching their head. How do I get in there? But work while they're waiting to get in there. So
That's it.
You just got the next wave coming through there.
That's
Obviously,
it.
with that talent and that the depth up and down the board. What are some kind of expectations you got on this group and what you guys are looking for as a whole, as a team where you're working every day?
Well, it's kind of funny how it works because, we're sitting there after we lose to Seneca last year in the dugout, and you're just kind of reflecting. I'm talking to Coach Michael Land, who is our assistant, a really good friend of mine, and we're talking just kind of about the season as a whole. And, you start thinking like, man, that was a special one. When do you get that again? That sort of thing. And then, couple transfers later, you start seeing that player development kick in with some guys, and you're like, oh, well, we might not have to wait too long to have another shot at making a run like that. So I think that's kind of where we're at. I think last year was, it was a special year. We battled some adversity around this time last year, and we're able to kind of come out on the positive side of that and learn from it. And, I think our guys were just, phenomenal through that and really, helped me personally as that was obviously not a fun time. But, I think in 2024, there wasn't a lot of expectations. So I think in 2024, we kind of showed up and, when Daniel started performing, I think it was kind of like, oh, okay, like that's cool. But then you bring all those guys back and now the expectations are through the roof. And I think if I had to talk about expectations in regards to last year, I think that, we weren't ready for that level early. I think we figured it out as the season went on. I think early in the year, we really struggled with, those high expectations that were placed on us with a group that had a bunch of guys coming back. We go to the Classic and we played well. And then, we lost the game to Fountain Inn and went to Alabama and took a couple on the chin to some really good teams. And I think when we came back, we're kind of like, okay, who are we? And of course, we're rolling into Seneca that week and they beat us a couple times. So we were really just trying to figure out, like, what is this team about? And around that time is when the fill the tank hashtag kind of came around. And we started really what that is it was just a way to kind of remind our guys to prioritize the right things, do everything you do, not just play, but do everything you do with your bigger purpose at mind. Do it for the guys around you, be selfless, have a little dog about you. I mean, it was really just a combination of everything. And I guess to sum up this year's expectations, I guess it's like I think we have the same expectations in house. I think we expect to be one of the teams that are having a shot to take the whole thing home. I think that's definitely a goal that we have, but I think hopefully we handle those expectations a little better this year. Like, hopefully we're ready for those expectations, now, because I don't know if we have the expectations, in the outside eye that we had last year, but I think the difference is I don't think our guys care this year. I think our guys are just, ready to go. We know what we can be. We know what we're capable of. And I don't think we're going to get involved with a ton of distractions. I think we're going to, play for the right reasons, play for our purpose and, have a chance to have a really special year. So a little bit of a long-winded answer, but that's kind of, it was definitely a turning point last year once we kind of started shifting our mindset a little bit. And I would expect these older guys to come back and start with that shift from the get-go.
Coach, you go and tell everybody you're always going to have those expectations from me. No pressure. Sean will go elsewhere, unless you played in the capital city. But Coach Payne, we appreciate you hopping on yet again. I know we're excited to see you guys, and I know I don't know that I'm gonna make many games because it's such a long damn drive, but it is what it is. Coach, we appreciate it nonetheless.
Yeah, thank y'all. I appreciate it, and again, thank you. Thankful for all that you do. Appreciate the Scout Day, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys around.